All right, I am working on a parser to parse all of these constructs. So in my experience config, I'm creating a bunch of function heads to parse a construct. So I think we can have one specifically for, we take a previous config and some shape here, and we want to give back a new config, and the first type is if the type is spawn plane and the name is initial. So if this matches, so we get a type. Now, one second. So this will be converted into atoms, I believe. So we're going to want this. So the type is spawn plane. The name is initial. If that matches, then we want to grab something. The params of position, length, and width. Position, length, and width. And what is position here? Position is X, Y, and Z. Okay. So we pattern match on that. And the only thing we can set right now is the min players. So we'll go ahead and set that. So we'll get back a new alias alias our experience config. We pass back a new experience config, popping the current config in there and setting the min players to I'm sorry, not min players. What are we setting here? Oh, this is not it. I think it needs a special, so we should call this the initial spawn plane, and have this be nil, I suppose. Then when we come in here, we'll say that the initial spawn plane is map with position is position, width is width, and length is length. Okay. And what else can we parse? Now we want to parse an opt-in sign. Okay. And just copy some of this, go back to the experience config. So now we have parse construct config and pattern match some things. What do we get back? So, oops, if the type is opt-in sign and the name, let's not worry about the name. Opt-in sign is fine. And params, and this has got to match at least the min players part. Min players. And let's get the debounce seconds to debounce seconds. And so what happens? So now we can return a new experience config. Passing back the config, and what's going on here? What is this red? Missing a do? No. Unexpected reserve end. Oh. Yes, because of this stuff. Now, let's see, we set the min players to min players. And the other thing is game start debounce in seconds, which is we want game start, yeah, becomes debounce. Okay. Then over in the game, when we're loading a config, we take all of its constructs and we reduce over the constructs, playing them into an empty config. Here's the accumulator, and for every construct we run experience parse with the construct, and this is going to return a new config which will play into this, right? I think that'll give us a config, and then we'll save that final config back into the game. So we don't need this opt-in thing anymore. Yeah, that's what we're doing. And I can delete this one, I think. So let me check the test. So we're going to parse this, and let's just inspect the game. And here we have a new game. The configuration, interesting, has a description, kills players, has a name and params. Oh, I think I screwed this up because yes, an experience config. Finally, this construct didn't match anything. I was giving back the previous construct. This doesn't seem right. Config. Sensor, no game file. Okay, so the config isn't right here. I was expecting some of these variables to come out. Let's see. Parse construct. This seems straightforward. So I bet the issue is over in the game. We're parsing this. Reduce. I'll inspect this with a label. Experience config. And let's see what happens. Started here. Here's the initial. You start here. Yeah, okay. And then the second pass, it already got screwed up. We should not have a description in the config. We should not have any of those things. In fact, the first one is screwed up because this didn't return the accumulator. What is going on here? So how does this reduce work? Element and then accumulator. Oh, I think I have these reversed. It should be this way. Element and then the accumulator. Should this be like this? Took them off. Okay. That's looking a lot better. The initial spawn plane was nil, min plane is 0. Initial spawn plane, why did it end up being 0? Let's go to the top here. So we start off with this, which is spawn plane. So this isn't right. You didn't update yourself at all. look at this again. Okay, we're reducing through the constructs. The functioning takes enumerable. Then just take a function. Where do you feed the accumulator, the first value though? So if this is x and this is the accumulator, x times the accumulator. Enumerable accumulator. Where's the accumulator? This accumulator element, and then a function that takes the accumulator, returns the new accumulator. This is what we have here. So, okay, if I'm inspecting here and it didn't change, I must be returning the wrong thing. Config and the construct. So if I go look at this, here it should give you, and those are default values too. Take that and then set the initial spawn plane, which it didn't do. Initial spawn plane parse. Oh, did we not get in here? Oh, okay, so we're not making it. We should do this. Inspect unhandled parse construct, and we'll say something about the construct. Okay, yeah, everyone is unhandled because we are passing these as strings. Oh, interesting. Okay, so when we got this JSON and we did a JSON parse, it did not make it into, right, it did not make them into symbols. That makes sense. So I was wrong. This experience config should match them as strings. Here we can just say params, I guess. We matched something. And these params are the params of this thing. Make these strings to atom. How do I add them on it? Elixir map atomize keys. Map. Straight to keys. Enum into map new. Keys. I'll pipe that into that. Atomic map. To atom with mixed string atom keys to atom only key maps up familiar with a safe option. Okay. Atomic map convert. Yeah. Seems fine. Atomic map. What's the latest version? Zero 092. Convert. Convert. Okay. So with this one, type open sign, params. And Let's see if this changes anything. Okay, now the experience contains the 5 initial spawn. That's good. And min players, 1. Which comes from here. Okay, now what about game start? Yeah, let's add that one. Which I think can be experience. Let's see, game. No, config. We add a new construct. Parse this construct. This one will be having a spawn plane. So let's grab this one actually. That one is initial, but this one is called what? Called game start. And yeah. So where does it go? Initial spawn plane. It should have another one. Game start. Game start. Spawn plane. I'll just throw that here. So now we have a game start spawn plane and initial spawn plane. Now what I want to have happen when the game parses that somebody came in. So person entered. I want to get back a new command, and the new command should be teleport, person teleport. So when a person enters, they go to the initial point. So we'll pass in the participant ID. So we should have something that's like calculate spawn point or something. Maybe we could have the game do it. I mean, this is the game doing it. Alright, okay. So, okay, get random spawn point given the position length and width. So you can get, for, let's see, put it in position, can be further broken down into x, x, y, y, and z, z. So ignoring y for a moment, the how do you get a random number? We'll give a random number from 1 between 1 and n. So if it's 1, if it's 2, okay, so it gives you a random whole number. Enum random 0, 1. What is that? Enum random 0, 2, 5. Okay. What if this is, whoops, looked. Okay. Enum random. Integer, unique. Unique. Not unique. Random. Whooped. Oh, random uniform without a. There we go. Okay. Random number between 0 and 1, I presume. And therefore, if I wanted it to be from 0 to 5, so I want it to be up to the width. So if x is left and right, that makes it the width. So sum width equals random uniform multiplied by width. However, we need to divide that by 2 because it could go to either side of that. So that is some random noise in the x left-right axis. Now we add that to the x variable. And we call this rand width. And rand z, ordered backward, is the length. So random uniform multiplied by the length divided by 2 plus the y value that it is already. and then the returned position will be x's rand with, y remains y, and z will get rand z. Let's just call this rand x. So that gives you a, down here, what's wrong with this? Rand of 0 is deprecated. Use rand module instead. Is that how it's rand module? Oh, is it just that? And z then used. Z. Okay, I think I have, this one should be random uniform multiplied by width, but then plus x minus x over 2, which is the same thing as saying plus half of x, right? 1 minus 1/2 is the same thing as add half. Is it? Plus z minus 2. Let's see, is this the same thing? So random number multiplied by the width plus minus, oh no, that's width over 2. This is width over 2. Length over 2. This thing should just be get a random spawn point with a position of x0, y0, z0, and length is like 1 point. Yeah, give it 1.5 meter, and width is 1.5 meter. So if I do the game, get random spawn point with no. Guess you can have it nil. versus the width, but between 5 should give me between 0 and 10 on x. I haven't seen anything above 8. Random uniform, multiply the length, the width, minus width over length over 2. That seems right. Oh wait, it's not between 0 and 10. It is because width is divided by 2. So as you get like a 2.5 on either side, the max you'll get is like a 7.5, and the smallest you'll get is 5. 5. Yeah, that's about right. Okay. In the game, we want to give back this thing, so let's run our tests. So in our game tests, we tell it to, let's inspect the game. Yes, that is the game. Now I have to inspect the command. The game has all this stuff. I've got one participant not playing, and the command is teleporter. Here's a random place for him to teleport. So what happens in the server, experience server? We're going to process the command. If you're not given a command, return that. If you're given an unknown command, anything else. Process command state now inspect unhandled process command 4. Just get back the state. So we want to be able to say teleport, player met, and what was it? Person teleported. Now it's a symbol. Okay, let's get back a symbol then. Person teleported. We go to game. experience server, and if we're asked to say process command with state person teleported, and what we get is the ID of the person and the position. Now what are we getting here? Experience server. I guess whether these are symbols, it doesn't really matter. We're going to convert them and send them over the wire. So if you wanted to, you could do this. And when we're in the experience server, we'll just say we have a payload. And we will broadcast this. Now, don't we need this somewhere? Person enters, you tell them where to spawn, then they update their movement, maybe. So they're told to move there, and then we'll get back the movement. I think that's fair. So we don't update our position yet. We let them teleport and then come back to us in a bit. Process command, person teleported, payload. We want to broadcast this somewhere. So what is the state? State in slug. So let that be the xr dot endpoint. Web dot endpoint dot broadcast. Send everybody turn broadcast message from the given from. And how do we broadcast? Elixir endpoint broadcast. Topic, event, message from, broadcast a message from the given from as event. Topic, event, message. Topic is dot debug event person teleported payload. The event message. What's going on here? Can never match because previous clause completely cover the type. How so? Game. All right. It says oops. Stop right there. Commit. Add. Random spawn